Hello, good morning. We are here with Diane Trimbath. I'm Ina Stanley, and it's my pleasure to introduce her to this presentation. She is not only a dear friend of mine, she's a wonderful colleague of mine as well. She's a great astrologer. She's also a, a, a successful businesswoman. She has her design business. Um, the Design Edge. Duh, stutter, stutter. I know it well. I'm just getting old. And so I'm going to turn the floor over to Diane. Thank you for
Thank you, Ina. Okay, we're going to start the day off, and we are doing this presentation today. We're looking at the summer months ahead, starting with the summer solstice, which is June 21st. Actually, we're going to start a little bit before that, and we're going to go into the fall months, the autumn equinox. So I'll take you through what's going on in the sky astrologically. And of course, we're going to start with our dear old friend Pluto. Now this happened actually a week or so ago on June 11th, and Pluto is really one of the main topics this month because it is retrograding back into Capricorn. And so what this means is that the focus of power and control in our world is changing for a very short period of time. So it was in Aquarius for a brief 4-month stint from March 24th until June 11th. And so we've all had the opportunity to realize that what had power in our world was changing. And so you may have realized that things from the past that used to work and that used to have credence, all of a sudden weren't performing like they used to. And new things and new doors were opening that didn't used to perform in the past. But being at 0 degrees, things didn't move too much. So the focus of Pluto being in Aquarius is in the mind. It has to do with the air. It has to do with thoughts and awakening the mind. So it has to do with science, exploration, discovery, anything that has to do with astrology. Pluto in Aquarius is actually going to be a tremendous burst for astrology as a profession and for all of our astrology practices. And I can honestly say that I've experienced it through those 4 months. Doors were opening like crazy. But we are now going back into Capricorn. And so the power of Capricorn has to do with responsibility, authority to old systems, to the old structures of the past, to conservative means, to conservative methods, government controlled, church controls, structures, buildings, anything that has to do with capitalism. The traditional forms of gas and power, anything that has to do with the physical world. So we are now going back into a world of physicality where we are coming from the world of possibilities. So it was a brief stint, but it's giving us the awareness of what can be. And so what we're really doing is going back. It's been a process. It's a cycle that we're currently in. And it started in Capricorn. Pluto's been in Capricorn for the past 16 years, but it's ending its stay there. And the last 3 years, of course, going back to 2020, it had to do with structures from the world that we knew, that we watched breaking down and ending, things that we were comfortable with, means of modes of business and modes of livelihoods and comfortable environments and our comfortable reality. We watched it all breaking down because it was ending the cycle, and it was also bringing up everything that was wrong within that cycle to be looked at, to be fixed, and so that the cycle could move on. But actually it was from 2008 until 2023 in which that process was in Capricorn. The power of what ran the world and what ran our lives was basically in reality. Then for the last 3 months, we watched the beginning of a new reality coming into play. And all of a sudden we started to see robotics, and we started to see, space travels, and focus on anything that had to do with technology, discovery, science. But the frustrating part of it is that although we were aware of it, nothing really was moving forward. But it's bringing our understanding of where we're going, because that's exactly where we are all headed. And this is all going to start to come back into play in January of next year. So Pluto has gone back into Capricorn for a final 7-month stint from June 11th through January 21st of 2024. And so this is going to be a 7-month period, in which case we're going to give closure to things that have been our reality and have been our world for the last 16 years. So it'll be a time to cherish it, to appreciate it, to honor it, to have those final experiences with it. Because again, it is our comfort zone of how things used to work and how things used to produce, power and income in the past. But it's also then a closure. And so you're going to be finding now that new people from the past are going to be contacting you, coming back into your life, work from the past, and responsibilities from the past that have to do with you being in charge, you being the boss, you being in control of whatever situation it may be. The head honcho, so to speak, is going to come back into all of our lives before we clear it. And then, of course, as it goes into Aquarius, it's going to be a shared experience. It's going to be a group experience, a team experience. The baton gets passed from one individual leading the show to distribution of many people all taking a hand or a part of the operation. So that's going to come back in January of next year. Okay. And we've also got Pluto squaring, it's now at 29 degrees Capricorn. It's squaring the solar eclipse we had in April 20th of this year. And so if you look at this chart, this was the chart of the eclipse. And of course,